can see behind me, there are a lot of gaps in my shelves. Apologies. You'll understand why in a second. So I've decided to go with this segment that Beck, the bookaholic from Instagram, actually commented on one of my photos and suggested the idea, and I thought it was really cool. So I thought it'd be something like, if you like this book, then you like this book. So it's more like recommendations of something similar, and I thought it'd be pretty interesting. So here goes. Okay, so next one is Twilight, which I'm just going to go ahead and assume that pretty much everyone who's watching this has read this book. I still don't have any issues reading it. I always thought that like people seem to think that Bella is just this weak, pathetic human, which she is compared to all of the pretty much invincible vampires and werewolves that she's fighting. So of course she's going to be relying on them for help and not being able to fight herself because she's human. Like, she has no powers. She will die, literally. Like, seriously, she'll die. So, yeah, no, I pretty much am willing to argue with people against that because it just is illogical to me. Yeah, I always have enjoyed Twilight, so I thought that I would give you some recommendations. If you like this book, you might like some of these. Alienated by Melissa Landers. Kind of like the same concept, but he's not from Earth. Obviously, you can get that from the title. I liked the fact that I like books where the girl at start hates the guy, like he's an asshole, and she hates him, but they end up together. Like, that's my thing. That's what I like. So this is like a huge, like that. It's exactly what happens. They end up hating each other to begin with for ages, and you can totally understand why. The girl, like the protagonist, Kara, is awesome. She's like just top of her class, like smart as hell. And like that's just awesome to me. Like the whole concept of the book was really cool, and I don't want to give it away. But you have to read it. It's really cool. Another one is Velvet. Again, vampires and stuff, but not as you would think. Like not very realistic. It is contemporary, like it is set now. But for me, like the female character wasn't as strong as Rose, or like you can't compare anyone to Aelin, so I'm just not even going to try. But yeah, she wasn't as strong, but the storyline is, and that makes up for it quite a lot. Of Poseidon is a seriously awesome book by Anna Banks. Again, you can gather from the title that there's something about mermaids in there, which is something I've never really read before. I've never read anything about mermaids or anything like that, so that was pretty cool for me because it opened up a whole new sort of mini genre. Galen, like the guy in it, is awesome. Like he's really, really cool, and there's a couple of really awesome characters in here that kind of really get the story going, get you hooked, and you won't end up being able to put it down. So yeah, that's a good book. Bluebirds by Melissa de la Cruz is also a really good book. Set in New York. It's got a lot of stuff on like fashion and clothing and brands and stuff, supermodels. So it's not, she's not like your weak, pathetic sort of human that is just clumsy, dresses terribly. God, it sounds like I'm hanging out on Bella again, but I'm not. But yeah, no, it's really cool. It's going through the notion that vampires don't know they're vampires. They have to like go through the fact that they don't know that. They're getting preyed on by like some monster or something, so having to fight unknown or like plot twists and stuff, so it's pretty cool. I enjoyed it a lot. And so the next book, yes, I'm guessing that a lot of you know this one. Hopefully, if you don't, you need to go out and read it now because it's amazing and probably one of my all-time favourite books ever. Obsidian by Jennifer Armentrout. You have to read this just because of Damon Black. Oh, that sounds so bad, but it's so good. It takes a little while to like get into. Probably not that much. Probably up to like maybe there-ish on the side. Just because it's so complex, I suppose, and you don't really expect what's going to happen to actually happen. Like, it takes a while to actually start the plot line, but when it does, you can understand why it took so long, because it's so good, and it just keeps you hooked, and there's a whole series of them too, and it just keeps getting better and better the more they actually keep going on as well. I love this book so much. Like, it's really good. You should read it, definitely.
You were a fake here. From there on you might just go.
Okay, so the first one is Shatter by Tahereh Mafi. I think that's how you pronounce it, sorry. I thought this book was alright. One of my friends probably completely disagrees because she loved it. Not to say that I didn't, it just didn't captivate me the way some other books normally do. It kind of seemed to me a bit too predictable almost. So other recommendations that I thought that if you liked that book, one of my kind of favourites is Storm by Brigid Kemmerer. This one's really cool. It's like if you liked a TV show, the animated Korean one called Avatar, Aang, The Last Airbender, this is kind of really similar. It's got 4 brothers that control each of the elements, and sort of it's like modern day as well, so them going to high school and having to deal with that, which is really awesome. I really enjoyed it. Another one is Spark. I'm not really understanding why they're all blue. That must just be a thing. Spark is really cool. It's by Rachael Craw. She's from New Zealand, which is kind of semi-local to me in Australia, so I feel like it's almost awesome to represent someone who's from a sister country almost. I loved this book so much. It's awesome. As soon as I read it, I went and bought it for like all of my friends and forced them to read it. They're like super enhanced. They don't know it. It sort of deals with them having to understand what that means in modern day as well. Going through all of that and then finding out that they're not actually in control, that someone else is really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend this book as well. So there you go.
And my hand told my heart, let love grow.
Okay, so this one is Obsidian, which I just mentioned. So I'm assuming quite a few of you have read this book. I won't really go into that much because I've already just done that. So also I'm going to kind of assume that most of you read these books as well because they're quite popular. I'll give you a brief overview just in case. This one is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This one was really good. I didn't really get into the second one though. I found it pretty hard just because it was quite slow. And I find it really hard to associate with characters if they have like really like outrageously unusual names, or like something like just kind of ridiculous, whereas this one's like Craw. It just didn't really speak to me. I just couldn't associate even with the name, kind of just even to begin with, just kind of put me off. That's me though, and that's just the name. I looked past that and I could see how much detail and how much effort was put into this book, and I loved the detail and stuff. The storyline was awesome, the characters were awesome, the concept was awesome. this one I couldn't put down at all. It was so good. So once I got started, I couldn't finish. So yes, this is a must read. I'm going to go ahead and assume everyone's read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. So this one was an awesome concept and something I hadn't really read about like before at all. So I thought it was really cool. So it's like the same sort of idea as Blue Bloods by Melissa de la Cruz. Vampires are separated by their blood in Blue Bloods. In Red Queen, people are separated by this colour of their blood again. And then those with a special kind of blood have a special kind of ability or power. So it's a really interesting story, really interesting concept. The main character is pretty cool. So yeah, no, it's definitely worth a read if you haven't already. I loved it. Shadow and Bone is the first one in the Grisha series. This one was really, like, in saying that Red Queen, like, I haven't read anything like Red Queen before. This one was completely, like, left of field. Like, I don't even know where she even came up with the idea for this. It is amazing. So cool. The three books in the series. They're like, it's like a quest almost. Each book has its own mini. Like it's like Harry Potter. Like it finishes at the end at each book, but overall there's like a whole storyline. So there's all like mini stories in each book. I really enjoyed it. I loved the captain. He was so cool. He was probably my favourite. I haven't read it in a while, but I really do want to go back and reread it because it was just that awesome. And it's something that sticks with you as well, this series. Like, you can't stop thinking about it. You can't not want to read more. Angelfall by Susan E. I loved this series. It was so cool. For some reason, I think I'm like a huge sucker for like angels and dystopian angels as well for some reason. I don't even know how that even happened. I thought this was really cool. If you like dystopia, if you like fantasy or anything supernatural, definitely pick this up. It's not your typical sort of read. It's not your typical dystopian future. Angels are actually evil. Like, that's so cool. Who even thought of that? That's so awesome. The last one is probably like, yeah, it explains itself, which is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I was actually lucky enough to meet her last year. Amazing. So I actually got all of mine signed. So I think this one is, yeah, which is pretty cool. She was so nice. I think she was actually quite nervous as well because there was quite a huge group of us at the meeting as well. But yeah, like teenagers with superpowers, fantasy, supernatural, like anything that you can think of. You won't be able to put it down, like the entire series at all, whatsoever. Okay, this one you have obviously seen in my last post. This is probably now like my ultimate all-time favourite standalone novel. It is so cool. I can't even talk it up enough. I found out that he's actually written another book, so I'm actually going to look into getting that tonight because it was that awesome. This is his first novel as well, so to have something that big to begin with is pretty crazy, I think. So it's like and the movie's coming out soon as well, which is pretty cool. Sorry, I get sidetracked really easily. So it's like virtual reality. So he's playing a video game and he's on a quest to find this egg. If he finds the egg, he wins a crazy amount of money. It sounds strange, but I'm not a video gamer or anything like that, and I found it awesome. So no matter how strange it is, I think anyone can relate to it. And I found that something quite similar and quite YA as well is Destruction, again by Jessica Shirvington. It's kind of like a cross between Ready Player One-ish kind of and 1984 by George Orwell. So they have to wear like a band, like a bracelet, and it monitors like how well you interact with people, and if you don't interact very well, then the government gets notified and you disappear. So it's really awesome, and so it goes through this girl and her process of finding her dad who disappeared, and it's really cool. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. Also, Ernest Cline's writing in Ready Player One reminded me so much of Matthew Reilly, who is another Australian author. His writing, like this book, is amazing. It's like a modern sort of Indiana Jones. Like he goes on this quest to try and save the world, but no one knows. He has to go and find all these like ancient artifacts and stuff with his team, and his team is made up of different individual countries. So the main character in this is Australian, and he's teamed up with a few smaller countries, and they're trying to race against Europe and America in finding these artifacts and stuff. So it's pretty cool coming through that sort of thing, and looking at how adventure, like a real adventure, would kind of work nowadays. So I thought that was kind of cool, and like I love his writing completely. So I've already pre-ordered the next one in the series, which comes out in October. So yeah, you should definitely pick up Matthew Reilly if you haven't already. Okay, so this one is Anna and the French Kiss. I love this book. Not so much the second one, but the third one was really good as well. You kind of have to read them all because they all kind of interact with each other, like Love Actually, sort of. So yeah, no, you have to read all of them to actually get a real good feel for the series. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one a lot, and I couldn't put it down at all. Like, it was really good writing. And I thought something similar is like an Australian novel, which is Saving Francesca. It's got the same sort of themes and stuff, but more Australian, if that makes sense. I love Melina Marchetta. Like, her writing is amazing. There's nothing that can really compare to her. It's unreal how she creates characters, and the character development as well in this book is amazing. So you definitely have to pick this up if you liked Anna and the French Kiss. Okay, so this one is We Were Liars by Lockheart. Well, I heard a lot of positive feedback on Instagram about this book. I didn't really get into it that much, just because it was a bit odd, too odd for me. The writing, in saying that though, the writing style was absolutely amazing, and that's what kept me going. And I did enjoy it to an extent, but this was better. Breathing on the Water by Sophie Castle. She is an Australian as well, which I love Australian authors. So I feel like promoting them is like something that you kind of have to do in being Australian. This book was amazing. Again, like, I couldn't put it down. Just like her style of writing, it's like reading poetry but in prose. Like, I don't know if you can come across it that often, to have a book that flows so well, that the writing is like magic almost. It's amazing. and like the synopsis, I'd read it out to you, but it doesn't do the book justice. It was like, I'm not a huge fan of contemporary novels. I'm not a huge fan of like real life almost. I like getting away from reality because I live in it. So for me to like a book like this means that it's pretty special. So you should definitely check it out. Yeah, so I think I'm actually going to see if I can meet her tomorrow at the Melbourne Writers Festival, which would be pretty awesome because I kind of like to commend her on her writing skills. This book, yeah, it was a huge plus for me, so you should definitely check it out.
The part where I buried my head so deep in my hands, all around me was.
Okay, so the next one is Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. So much better than the movie. Please agree with me, please. I love this series so much because Rose is so incredibly strong, and like just like physically it was quite different to actually have someone who really kicks ass before I suppose Throne of Glass came out. I grew up in high school reading and loving this series, so it holds a special place with me. I thought if you liked that, you'll also really like Jennifer L. Armentrout's Half-Blood. This is actually written before Vampire Academy, and also it seems to feel like to me that Richelle Mead has taken quite a lot of influence from this book. It's awesome, really awesome. It has a lot of like Greek undertones as well, with like mythology and stuff, which I thought was really cool. Again, really strong female character having to go through the trials, I suppose, of going through and dealing with what she is, which is a surprise. I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, I thought that was really awesome as well. And because I love Jessica Shirvington, I have to recommend Embrace by her as well. Not only is she like an awesome Australian author, but this series, like as soon as I started reading it, I had to go out and buy the rest of the series because it was that awesome. And you can tell like straight away, like her writing is so interesting. It like keeps you on your feet. You really want to read more, which not often happens with me. No, but I found it really cool, like the whole concept of oh god, I don't really know why, because you have to read it. But yeah, no, I'll read the synopsis for you so you can get a taste of what it's like. The wrong choice could cost not only her life but her destiny. All Violet wants to be is with Lincoln, but he has a secret so great it could tear them apart. Then there's Phoenix. He's intense and enigmatic, but always there for her. Caught up in a battle between light and dark, where angels seek vengeance and humans are warriors, Violet must decide how much she's willing to sacrifice and who to trust. Read it. Yeah. Hi guys, so that's a wrap on the second video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some good recommendations too. I'll be writing a list below as well as on my Instagram, just so you can know what all of the authors and all the books were that I featured in my video today. I will be posting another one hopefully soon when I come up with another theme. I think I do know what it is, so it might be something to do with Harry Potter and Cursed Child, maybe. So please stay tuned, and I'll hopefully you'll hear from me soon. Thank you.